Welcome to the much awaited Redmi Note 9s versus the Galaxy A51 camera comparison. If you are new here, please subscribe and turn on the notifications. If you like this video at some point, do hit the thumbs up button as well. So here we have both the handsets with a quad camera formulation. Starting off with the Redmi Note 9s, it's got the main 48 megapixels Samsung GM2 sensor. Redmi Note 9s has an 8 megapixels ultra-wide camera, a 5 megapixels macro camera and a 2 megapixels depth sensor. The front camera on this phone is the 16 megapixels shooter and this sensor is not specified. On the Galaxy A51 we have the main 48 megapixels Sony IMX582 sensor. Samsung has also used its own GM2 sensor in some of the Galaxy A51 units, but mine has the Sony sensor. There is an 8 megapixels ultra-wide camera on this phone, a 5 megapixels depth and a 5 megapixels macro sensor. On the front, the A51 has a single 32 megapixel Sony IMX616 sensor. Both phones have very good camera sensors which are actually the direct competitors. Remaining details are on your screen. As far as the camera apps are concerned, let me explain a few features here. Both phones have a dedicated 48 megapixels mode in which the AI or the HDR does not work. Remember that these are the pixel binning cameras, which means that the real resolution is going to be 12 megapixels. Redmi Note 9s Pro's camera app is more powerful as it offers the modes like 1080p at 60 frames per second video recording. It can shoot macro videos too, and it does have an integrated document scanner. Another great difference is in the Pro mode. Redmi Note 9s Pro mode has so many options. It can capture raw images, which is what the Galaxy A51 cannot do. Look at how many options you get in the Pro mode of the Note 9s, including the camera switch. Another advantage in the Redmi Note 9s is that it can shoot Pro videos too, and you can change the lens in that mode as well. A51 definitely has this advantage of shooting 4K videos from the front camera, and it does have a super steady mode as well. But overall, I personally find the Redmi Note 9s's app better. Let's start off with the camera comparison now. The very first difference between these cameras is of the dynamic range, with the Galaxy A51 being on the better side. Edge detection of the Redmi Note 9s is better. Colors are deep on the Galaxy A51. Initially, the Redmi Note 9s has better details to offer. The moment we switch to the 48 megapixels mode on both the phones, the differences get evident. HDR does not work in this mode on any of these devices. The AI doesn't work either, as I mentioned earlier. Redmi Note 9s sends the pictures towards a dull side and the A51 keeps it brighter. Details remain better on the Redmi Note 9s once again. Now here are different colors on these phones, and in all these pictures, the A51 has strong colors and a better dynamic range with better shadow and highlight management. The pictures from the Redmi Note 9s have a better depth effect, edge detection, and the details remain better on the Redmi Note 9s. You must have noted that Redmi Note 9s is producing warmer images while the A51 keeps them on the cooler side. Now this is my favorite shot for this comparison. It's a 48 megapixels image. Look at the sky through the leaves first of all. Looks better on the Redmi Note 9s in my opinion. Details are better on the A51. Redmi Note 9s has warm colors once again and the A51 keeps them cool. A51 is overdoing the highlights. Overall, a great and good looking image is there on both the phones. In these images, you will find that the Redmi Note 9s produces very poor sky colors at times. And this is not understandable. Because of the sky going dull, the foreground or the subject also doesn't look good at times either. This changes according to the scene conditions. In some scenes, the Redmi Note 9s does capture good sky colors as well. Sony lens on the Galaxy A51 is proving itself with that color boost in all the images. Two different focus points and the Galaxy A51 seems to be doing a better job. Overall, the colors are good. A51 is producing a well saturated and sharp image, adding up to the details. Now here are some more images and both phones speak for themselves. Colors can be a subjective choice and my personal choice here is the Galaxy A51. But remember that these results can vary for the Galaxy A51 that has the Samsung GM2 sensor. My Galaxy A51 has a Sony IMX582 sensor and this sensor makes a huge difference. Especially when we switch to the ultra-wide camera on this phone, it just doesn't stay up to the mark on the Redmi Note 9s. Redmi had to do better with the ultra-wide camera. It's not worth it right now, and I must say that I am disappointed in the ultra-wide camera of the Redmi Note 9s. At least this phone could have produced better colors. Let me know which phone's colors do you find better between these two. The indoor photo performance of the Redmi Note 9s remains somewhat better in a sense that it has better details, but again, the A51 keeps the colors better. In the low light, I have found that the Redmi Note 9s does a better job. Indoor, the Redmi Note 9s goes towards a cooler side and the A51 goes on the warmer side. Macro camera is equally good on both the phones, and I am a great fan of this feature. You can take some amazing shots with this one. The night mode, to be honest, doesn't make a huge difference, which is why I have put only 2 samples here. But for what it matters, the Redmi Note 9s keeps the details high in the non-night and the night mode. Let's take a look at some different photos now. Now in these images, you will find the skin tone on a natural side on the Redmi Note 9s, but details are better on the Galaxy A51 this time. In the ultra-wide mode is a huge difference with the Galaxy A51 on the winning side. In the 48 megapixels mode, both phones do good in their own capacity, but the A51 doesn't manage the highlights very well. In the portrait versus a live focus mode, the A51 has a stronger depth effect, but the Redmi Note 9s doesn't do bad either. I am liking the skin tone on the Note 9s. Do note that the Note 9s has a softer image while the A51 has a sharper image. Redmi Note 9s's 16 megapixels front sensor is not known, however, the A51 has the Sony IMX616 on the front. A51 is producing well saturated images and does better with the details as well. On the other hand, the Note 9s has more beautified images with a soft touch. Selfie choice also varies person to person, so do tell me about your choice in the comments below. As far as the depth effect is concerned, the A51 has a strong background blur in its live focus. Note 9s's portrait I think is also acceptable. Take a look at the videos now and I will let you be the judge for the videos. I have compared the modes that are common on both the phones. I would like to remind you that these phones do not have the optical image stabilization. These only have the electronic image stabilization, and that only works in the 1080p at 30 frames per second or in the ultra wide mode. This brings us to the conclusion of this video. And let me tell you that these phones confuse me at many places. If I have to go with great colors, sharpness and saturation, the A51 has to be my choice. But if I have to go with a more powerful camera application loaded with a lot of features, the Redmi Note 9s has to be my choice. Redmi Note 9S's ultra-wide camera is a disappointment and the Galaxy A51 does very good there. So here is how I choose the winner. If I have to pick up the Galaxy A51, I will pick up the one with the Sony IMX582 sensor. The A51 also comes with a Samsung GM2 sensor, and believe me, the result of that sensor is going to be very similar to the Redmi Note 9S. Now of course you cannot check out the camera sensor of your phone while the phone is still packed in the box. So I would suggest watching the review of the Galaxy A51 in your region and see if the reviewer has mentioned the camera sensor or not. For example, the Galaxy A51 that I have comes from the Middle East region and this one has a Sony IMX582 sensor. So if you cannot find the Galaxy A51 with the Sony IMX582 sensor in your region, close your eyes and go pick up the Redmi Note 9S and you won't regret it. I believe it is the best camera in this budget and it is going to live on for at least another year until we see a better sensor. Let me know which phone did you like in this comparison, and if you have noticed any other differences other than the ones that I have talked about in this video, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Don't forget hitting that subscribe button and thumbs up if you like this video. With that said, I will sign off and see you in the next one.